Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of And Now You Know with Betty and Julz. I'm Betty.
And I'm Julz.
And today, we're going to have a really fun conversation. We're going to be talking about what is the purpose of dating.
There's a lot of people who seem to be confused about that.
There are a lot of people that seem to be confused, and we want to talk about all those areas of confusion.
We want to clear up the confusion.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, you might not know why you're dating, and you may not have a reason to date.
Right. Well, we're going to give you some reasons to consider, and then you can still decide whatever you want to do after.
Whatever fits into your life.
Right. But one of the things that we're going to say is, we're on social media a lot, and it seems that this has become quite the hot topic because I see it come up over and over and over again. And I've seen it from a Jewish marriage counselor, from a rabbi, from a Christian pastor, from dating coaches. Everybody's talking about it. So let's talk about it.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
Why are you dating, Betty? Because I'm not dating. I can tell you why I did date.
I didn't even think you were going to ask me that. Well, so the reason why I'm dating is actually because I would like to be married. So
that's the reason why I was dating.
Yeah. So for me personally, I absolutely believe that dating should lead to marriage, or else I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
For me, I'm dating with purpose, intention, and clarity. And so when I'm on those dating apps, like I share all the time, and when I'm having conversations, though, that is like absolutely one of the probably top 3 questions that I ask. Because for me personally, it doesn't make sense for me to start dating anybody or to even bother kind of having any interest or conversation, or even go on a date, any of that. None of that matters at all if they say that they're, just wanting to see what's out there.
Yeah.
If they are newly single and, just want something maybe short-term or casual, if they're currently separated and clearly like haven't cleaned up all their other stuff. For some people, it really is a distraction. For some people, it really is just let me just hang out for now.
Well, for some people, it's just that they can't be alone and they just need a warm body. And then I know that you've seen some people who have children, but they've never been married.
Yep.
That is a red flag to me. There might be a little bit of commitment phobia there. I was always, by the time I was getting married to Jay, I just didn't want to mess around. I didn't want to just mess around.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
It was like, I've said this before, I would rather be alone than be alone with someone. I've done both. And it's harder to be alone with someone because you're constantly begging them to love you.
Yep.
And I don't want to do that.
So this is the part where I think it's really, really important because I'm clear and I know what I want and I know what my intention is going in. But here's the part that is really important where I ran into this, which is why we're having this conversation. And I've seen this happen multiple times to multiple people, so it's not just me. But you start having conversations with someone, you think it's going really well, you think that the other person is as interested as you and that you have the same vision and goal for your life. Well, here's the part where somebody can say whatever they want to say, but the actions, it's funny, there's a dating coach out there, his name is Taylor Love, and I love him. His name is Taylor Love.
I love that name.
It's a great name, but he is constantly talking about, he's a dating coach for women, but he's constantly talking about things to, basically ways for a woman to relate to a man, best ways to communicate with them. And then also he talks about just relationship patterns from the male perspective. And so what his point is for women, forget about the words that he's telling you. You should be watching his actions.
Always.
And I think that that is really great advice. And that's absolutely the truth because people will say something, and if their actions don't match it, you have to believe that the action is the thing that is actually their truth, not their words.
Well, and if you're giving them mulligans on that, chances are that you're not ready to be dating because you haven't made out your list. You're not dating with intention. If you're going, oh, it's okay, I can live with that one, well, then that list continues to stack against what you want. and you're going to end up having to relearn the lesson of loss and then having to start all over again. So why not start with a place where you are being very intentional about who you're looking for? And this brings in all of those qualities about being equally yoked.
Yep.
So you have to figure out the things that are really important to you in your life. Like for me, I wanted somebody who loved Jesus as much as I do. I wanted somebody that would get up and get into the Word and pray with me every day over our marriage, over our home, over our kids, over our animals, over our friends. Betty's name's in my prayer book. I pray for her every single day and her kids. And that's just something that was really important to me and to Jay. And I think it's the what makes us so solid.
Yep. That's absolutely true. But if she didn't have those things firm and clear for her, and I'm thinking about it, he was actually a Christian marriage counselor, and he was saying that there is no way that you will find the right guy to marry. There's no way you're going to find him if you're dating the wrong one.
That's right.
Right? And so then what are we doing dating?
What do you call that, a placeholder?
Yes, it is a placeholder. That was the next thing I was going to say.
Yeah.
Because what ends up happening is if you don't have clarity, and I've said this before, I know we have said this before, but a situation came up.
Yeah.
A situation came up. And
It
it became very clear that this needed to be a topic of conversation, because it just seems like I keep seeing all these women on social media with such frustration, and I have experienced it myself. And so when you have that, you have all these people having this conversation. Well, what's the solution for it? Like, let's have this conversation. All the women that are talking to all the other women about it, I think we're clearer on what we want, what we're looking for, the intention, and all of that stuff. But then you have the other side, right?
The men. I know what they want.
The men. Well, we know what they want, but I feel like, where's the honesty? Where's the clarity, the transparency? I think that we're having a really, really hard time with people, not necessarily because sometimes they don't know what they want, but sometimes they know what they want, but they don't want to tell you.
Yeah, and then they get their claws into you far enough to where you've got to be really strong to say, oh, no.
Right.
I'm not doing that. You will never see me again.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, it's true. I think... Or you become the placeholder.
Yes.
And actually another post that I saw recently that was talking about, a man knows. Number one, a man knows what he's looking for because he's the hunter. So he knows and he's clear. And when he sees what he wants, he doesn't make you wait. He doesn't string you along. He doesn't have you in a place of limbo or uncertainty. When he knows what he wants, he makes it very clear. So now this is a conversation for us to have with women of, if you know what you want, and if we actually listen to what I just said about what men want and how men behave and what they would do for the person that they want, then why do we spend time? Why do we entertain? Why do we give mulligans, right? And continuous opportunities? What are we waiting for? Waiting for them to, well, I'm not waiting for anybody, so this is not happening.
I'm really proud of Betty and how she handles these situations.
Well, because now I'm clear. But look, in the past, there were a few people that got, maybe a little too long, a little too much time, energy, and effort from my part that they weren't bringing in either. Well, now I just cut things off a lot sooner. And, we've talked about that before. Like, the moment that you identify the thing, that you know that it's not going to happen, that it's not aligned, that it's not equally yoked, there's the clarity.
And if you let them, we just watched a post. It was that guy, and he was saying, a man will enjoy your time. He will certainly enjoy your body if you let him.
Your energy.
He will enjoy your energy. As long as you let him.
As long as you let him.
You can't tell me that you don't feel it in your gut. You can tell. I can tell you there is a big difference in dating a man who is completely into you than the one that, the book, he's just not that into you. So stop.
Yeah.
You're only hurting yourself.
So I absolutely agree that you do know. But aside from knowing, there has to be something within you There has to be something within you that when you recognize it, why would you tolerate that? Why would you stay for that? Because you're not going to change them.
No.
You're not going to change them. So why would you give up? And depending on what stage of life you're in, somebody in their early 20s, they might not say, I'm looking for a man that's ready to be married in the next, 6 months.
Right.
They might not say that.
Right.
They might say, hey, let's date for 2-3 years. Like that's normal.
Yeah.
That's normal. But if you are on chapter 2, on chapter 3, whether you're 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever age you are, that is on our side, right?
Yeah.
On our side of where we are, stage of life. No one over here is saying, oh, I'm okay dating someone for the next, 5 to 10 years, and we'll just see how it goes.
Yeah, well, I'll be dead by then. No, I won't.
I don't. No, you won't. That's ridiculous. Why would you
I
say
won't
such a thing? No. What happened to 107, Jules?
Yeah, I've got a very long time to go.
Yeah. So everybody knows my age is
Sorry.
107.
Just a joke.
Yeah.
It makes her so mad when I say
it does because you have to be. I also believe in the power of
I do too. Sorry.
Yeah. Speaking things into existence.
Did you see me suck the words back in?
Yes, cut it out, Jules. Anyway, so okay, continue. Go ahead.
I don't know what I was going to say.
I'm not sure where we were either, but I'm pretty passionate about this topic because I feel like, and I have known people to stay in a relationship that they stayed way too long, even though they saw that it wasn't.
Maybe me?
No, it wasn't you.
No.
No.
You didn't know me then, but I absolutely stayed in a relationship too long.
No, but that's not what I was going to say. That's not what I was going to say, because I believe that I did the same thing, stayed in one too long, but that's not what I was going to say. So what I'm saying is I have known people that stayed in a relationship, but they weren't getting what they needed and wanted. They weren't married.
And they weren't married.
They weren't married.
They weren't living together. They weren't getting nothing.
Right. So here's my point. 5, 6, 7, 8 years dating, however long they were dating, and you're still not getting the commitment. So here's what happened. I swear this story, it is like, it happens so many times that it's so crazy. It's so predictable. So here you have this relationship. Finally something happens where the girl gets a gutful, and it might be year 8, year 9, year 10, whatever, and maybe have had a couple kids since then, whatever. That happens too. But here now, she has a gutful and she's ready to go, so they break up. And without fail, within 6 months to a year, he got someone else and he got married.
Isn't that crazy?
And he got married.
I've seen that.
So you better believe that whoever he was dragging along for the last 5 to 10 years,
he never ever was going to marry her.
He never intended to marry her. He never intended to marry her. He intended to take up her time, use her body, take up all her energy.
Yep. Eat her good cooking.
As long as she allowed it to happen.
And let me tell you,
and that happens a lot.
When that happens and you are trying to recover from that loss, one of the big things that you feel inside of you is that you wasted some of the best years of your life on this person who never had any intention of committing to you. That I felt that.
Yep.
I felt that way.
Yep, that's absolutely true. And you know what? I'm going to give a shout out to Marjorie Harvey. I love Steve Harvey and Marjorie.
I do too.
But I'll tell you, she taught me she was telling her story, but it taught me a valuable lesson. And I probably heard about this, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, whatever. It's been a while. But she was talking about she and Steve had been dating for a while, right? And they're older. Yeah. They had children.
Family,
they had families, divorces, whatever. And he said they were engaged. They were engaged because he knew that she wanted to be married, and she was very serious about, she let him know. She was very clear about it. So they were engaged. He had proposed already, but they were engaged for quite a while. And here she is wearing this ring, and she's trying to get him to commit to setting a date. And he wouldn't. Now, let me tell you right now, this is where it's a really big deal. And this is where, for you, the woman, you're going to have to dig deep for this one. But she asked him, what are we doing? When is the date? And he said, let's just keep doing what we're doing. We don't need to do this. We don't need to do that. That very moment they were in his apartment, and she tells the story beautifully. She took off the ring.
I bet it was a beautiful ring,
I bet it was amazing.
I bet it was. I bet it was hard to let go.
Took off that ring. She put it down, and she said, let me know when you're ready, and if I'm still available. If I'm still available, we can maybe have a conversation.
Ooh. That's what you do. Yes. Yay, Marjorie.
Shout out to Marjorie Harvey. Yeah.
And that, my friends, is how you do it.
That is exactly how you do it. I think that's really awesome. And this isn't about.
Okay, I want to hear the rest of the story. How long did it take him?
No. That very moment he picked up the ring from the table, he put it back on her hand, and they set a date.
Okay.
It was that very moment.
Yeah.
Because she's like, oh, no, I'm not. I'm very clear.
Yeah.
And this is where.
You go do your thing.
Yep,
I'm not
You go do your thing.
participating.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, too. Like, when somebody's not ready, it's not my job to wait for you.
No.
It's not my job to
Nope.
get you ready. So why would we be doing that whole crazy
Your job
thing?
is to not settle for the BS
Right.
that somebody is trying to drag you through, and you're letting them do it.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying Steve Harvey was dragging Marjorie
Yeah, I
through
mean,
BS.
they've been together now
mean,
for 20-something years.
Yeah,
so.
and he had gone through several. I'm sure that he,
Yeah.
maybe was a little bit gun shy, but she showed him the kind of woman that she is.
Yep.
And she still is to this day.
She still is to this day. And if you hear him tell that side of the story, he talks about how she is the woman of his dreams. And he talks about how when because men know like this.
They do.
And so he knew that he was not going to let her slip away. And it kind of feels like if you take his advice, which he offers a lot of dating advice, and if you believe everything he says, well, then if you're a woman and you listen to his advice, you have to have standards in place.
Yep.
And you have to be willing to walk away, completely detach yourself from it. You have to be willing to walk away. And what happens next will give you the answer. And that either he steps out or he moves out of the way.
And you have to surrender to that.
Yeah.
I mean, Betty says a prayer.
I do. I say a prayer every
And
time.
I say a prayer every morning too, not about close the window on my relationship. Of course not. I ask blessings on mine because now we're married and
Yeah.
almost, 9
Yeah.
anniversary.
Oh, yay!
9 years.
You definitely should not be praying
No.
the prayer of close the window.
But
in
I
that
do
relationship.
ask for doors to close on certain things. But you have to literally just be in a place of true surrender to God's will and just say, here I am, take me, use me, and and make it very clear. And you can't renege on that.
Yep, you can't.
You can't.
You can't
You
because
just have to trust
let me
the
tell
process.
you get that prayer answered real quick.
You do.
And I think it's okay though. So while there's a little bit of, maybe disappointment of, wish that had worked out differently, it gives me such peace and such clarity for me
Yeah.
that clearly there is something that I didn't know, even though you could feel when there's something. There is something that I didn't know that where it just we were not going to align. And if we're not going to make it for the long haul, I don't want it.
No.
Why? I don't want to invest years. I don't even want to invest months. I don't want to. I don't want to invest weeks, months, years, whatever, into something that is not going to go all the way. I constantly say, I believe in marriage and
Yep.
I want to be married, but I will be single forever than
Yep.
to let anybody waste my time or to let anybody treat me like they just want to waste my time, use my body.
You're just
use
there so
my
they don't have
energy,
to be at home.
so that they don't have to be alone because they want some
They
kind of
don't like because they can't be alone. I can tell y'all that when I got
I'm okay
back-
being alone. I mean,
Right. When I got back into the world of dating and I had gone through my healing journey, my therapy, and I got to know who I was, I had already seen every single episode of Friends repeatedly, but I would rather stay at home and pour myself a nice glass of Sauvignon Blanc, light a candle,
Or two, or three.
or a bottle, and watch
Forget the glass.
Friends over.
Take the
I was-
bottle.
Betty gave me a big glass that attaches right to a bottle. I don't even drink that much anymore.
Yeah.
But back in the day, I would much rather do that
Yeah.
than go out with somebody who was playing me.
Yep. Yep. It's so funny. You just reminded me. There are so many amazing. This is why I love social media because there's the good and bad, of course, in social media. But I just saw a post that was talking about, if you're dating a guy, if your guy won't step up,
Yeah.
if your guy won't, commit to you, if your guy doesn't offer you clarity and transparency and all of those things, tell that guy to sit down so that you can see the guy behind him.
I love that.
Because honestly, it really is, be okay with it. This is where I think it goes back to self-love.
Yeah.
This is where I
Yeah.
think it goes
It's
back
all
to
about
how you
self-love.
feel about yourself and what standards you have in place and the vision that you have for your life. Because I promise you, a woman that has a vision for the type of man that she wants in her life, if she's clear, she will not let any random old dusty dude
No. No. She won't
use up.
entertain it.
Nope, not use
At
up her
all.
time. Yeah. So honestly, there are so many things that I have learned along the way. But look, it is true that if you're early on in your dating, if you're in your 20s and you're really, teens or
Right.
20s, whatever, I think there's so much to learn from, anyway,
Yeah.
there's so much stuff. But if
But you can
are,
still be intentional. You can
can
learn.
still be intentional,
I mean, you
for
can
sure.
learn in your 20s.
You can.
And then hopefully not stumble around in a relationship. And one of the things that I find so hard is that
you just have more time at that age.
Yeah,
is
you
what I'm
have more
saying.
time, but I hear so many people say, we're working so hard on this. And I do think there are seasons in marriages that are hard. I mean, when you get married and you're trying to get some traction financially, and then you throw a couple of kids in there, and then they're doing ballet and football and I mean, you're just running around like a chicken with your head cut off. And it is hard. But if you have got a solid friendship with your spouse and you divide and conquer, I still struggle with overthinking everything and thinking things are going to be so hard. And then I tell Jay what's going on, and he's like, what's the big deal? Because he jumps in there, man, and he does it.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
a
he's-
spoiled brat.
Well, yeah. So and this is the other thing too. We talked about this on another episode when we talked about married single mothers.
Oh, yeah.
This is not exactly the same, but it kind of sort of is.
Well, you can end up being a married single mom if you don't pay attention to what is
Right.
going on before you walk down the aisle and then have a couple of babies.
Right. So it is, and if you know what you want, and if you're clear, then in your dating, because it doesn't. Your marriage is not the final destination, like your wedding day.
No.
Your wedding day is not the final destination.
That's the party.
That's just the starting line. And so I feel like getting to the altar shouldn't be willy-nilly.
No.
Shouldn't be like, let me just get there. And then you get there and then you realize, a year down the road, or when you have the babies and
Or
whatever.
an hour before you walk down the aisle.
Right, or that too. Then you realize,
Oh, I don't wanna do that.
yeah, this is not the guy.
Yeah.
This is not it.
And then you're too humiliated to
Well, and if you're
be
already
the runaway
married,
bride.
yeah,
Right.
So either you don't want to be the runaway bride. I know people. I know
do too.
people that literally the day of
Yep.
had doubts and did it anyway because
I-
they were more.
another
Why is that a round of applause?
Because they didn't walk down the aisle.
No, I was saying I know people that did walk down the
Oh,
aisle.
well, I do too.
I know
I'm
people that
applauding the ones who, on the day.
absolutely. But
Yes.
okay, let's not get it to that.
I know.
We don't have to get
You
to
know
that
it
point.
before then.
Yeah.
You do.
What I was saying is that like I people that were more concerned
Yeah.
with how everybody else was going to view them, what they were going to think about it, what they were going to say about them.
That's the biggest problem with just about everything
That
in life
is.
is worrying about what other people think.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? That's
Who
what I
cares?
say. I mean, if you're doing all of the things, if you are paying attention, again, I go back to the clarity, right?
Yeah.
If you have the clarity and you have the intention and you know exactly what you're doing and you know exactly what you want, you would never get to that day,
Right.
If it
That's
wasn't
a big
with the person.
problem
Yeah.
in just about every, not just marriage and relationships and all that. Not allowing people to be who they are is a real big issue that we're having right now.
Well, look, we have
And
a whole other
caring.
episode.
Yeah.
Come as you are.
Yes.
It's your job to accept them or not,
Right.
As they are. It's not your job
if
to
they
change
don't meet,
them.
I mean, guys, listen, I just fully believe in the list.
Episode 7.
It's a map to love. You are mapping your way to love, just like you would map your way if you were driving 2,000 miles somewhere.
Right.
You wouldn't just get in the car and go without mapping your way. And
Can you all tell that this is a topic that we are both extremely passionate
Yes. Why?
about? We talk about this a lot.
Well, I did spend many decades of my life without mapping my way to love. And I'm here to tell you that if you get intentional and you know what's important to you and you know what you need and you find that person, it is.
Yeah.
Jay and I have never had, we don't, it's never hard to be married to him. We have hard things get thrown to us and we get, hit with it, but it never penetrates our marriage because we're a team and we work on it together.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's what you can have if you'll just stop being a goofball about it.
Well, and so I actually think
was a goofball.
There are a couple different ways to look at this episode. We called this episode "What is the purpose of dating?" Right? But this is either an opportunity to get very, very clear so that you know exactly how you want to show up and step into it. But this is also an opportunity to really, really examine and decide: are you even ready?
Right.
Because if you yourself aren't ready to say, "I'm ready to get married," I mean, what are the purposes? Why are you dating?
Right. Figure out why you're dating.
Figure out why you're dating,
and
because I will tell you.
And be honest about it.
And be honest about it, because I'll tell you right now, we've had this conversation where people are dating out of loneliness.
Yeah.
That will never work.
No.
That will never work. And honestly, no shade to anybody and no judgment, but I would love to hear from somebody if you actually want to, call in, email in,
I wish.
show up,
Yeah,
and say and challenge that you stumbled into a relationship, not being clear, not knowing what you wanted, and you're as happy as can be today.
I think there are some people who do that.
Okay, I want to hear it.
Yeah,
I want to hear about
yeah.
it. Okay, how did that happen?
I don't know.
Yeah. So
luck.
No, but I'm talking about if they started from a place of being lonely.
Yeah.
Right? They just threw themselves out there. I mean, maybe it's possible.
I think there are a lot of 20-year-olds who do that.
Well, and then they're divorced by 30.
Some, not all.
Well, okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know how they do it.
We want to hear from you.
Yeah, we really do.
We want to hear
We
from you.
do.
Like, we're genuinely interested, and
Right.
it's not about actually.
And I want everybody to be happy.
Yes, I do too. That's what I was going to say.
I don't want people to get divorced.
No, I
it's
want
awful.
people to be happy. I want people to. We go back. I think we've said this before. The person you marry is the single most important decision that you will ever make in your entire life. And so whoever can hear this, whoever is listening to this, and whoever this gets shared to, the younger you are is actually better for you to learn this information so that you can set yourself up for success. The rest of us that are getting this information post first divorce, like, if I had known all this stuff, I wouldn't have a divorce.
Right.
Already under my belt. So if you now have all this information and you have an opportunity to do it, like, we want everybody to be happy. That's the whole point.
Of course.
That's the whole point.
That is. We have this jar that's got all of our experiences in it, and we're just hoping to open it up and pour a drop on a few people's heads.
I love when she talks about that. She's talking about the jar of wisdom.
Yes, it is. It's like
our imaginary
all of my
jar
crap
of wisdom
in it, because I made so many mistakes, and I've got 3 biological children, and I've told them that I have gotten enough divorces for all of us, so y'all just go out and be happy. Y'all don't have to do it. I did it for you.
Yep.
And it sucks, let me tell you. And I'm not proud of it at all, but it is. I refuse to hide it under a bush. I'm not going to do it. I am not. I'm going to let my light shine and put my mess out on the table.
Okay.
Hide it under a bushel. No.
Oh my God, that's funny. I don't even know where that came from. Is that like a song or something?
It is. It's a little.
I had no idea what that was. That's so funny.
Little Christian children's song.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna let it shine.
I have never heard of it before.
I can't believe it. Where have you been?
I don't know.
Well, you're way younger than me, so that's why you haven't heard it before.
Oh my gosh.
There's a lot of things that you haven't heard that I know of.
No, that's true. That's true. And I've said this before too. Like, I grew up in a Hispanic family, and so my parents, even though I was born and raised in the Northeast, in the United States, but it's funny. I feel like I wasn't raised with like American culture. I wasn't.
No.
You know what I mean? We were. I just hit the mic. We were raised like, my parents are from Puerto Rico. So we were raised like we lived in Puerto Rico, but we
Right.
didn't live in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
So I would go to elementary school and people would be talking about Disney movies that they
Oh,
were
I know.
watching.
I
didn't watch any Disney
know.
movies growing up.
I was trying to remember if it was you or
Yeah, that was
this
me.
other person that I know.
People would say things to me and it was about either a Disney movie or even like common phrases, like common American phrases that, I had never heard of, and I didn't know the meaning of it. So it's like, oh, I don't know what that means, but it's because of that. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, well, and I'm from the Panhandle, and so we have lots of
She's a Texan.
Texas colloquialisms. Isn't that what they say? Colloquialisms. And there are lots of things that I say, and Betty just thinks
I'm like,
it's
I don't
hilarious.
know what that means. Well, they're all hilarious. They're all hilarious. But she says a lot of stuff that like her mom used to say or her grandma used to say, and I think they're hilarious.
But they are just bursting with wisdom.
Yeah.
The things that they said.
Well, they did the same thing. They took their jar of wisdom and they poured,
They did.
Well, they
And
tried to.
Yeah,
They-
no, and I ignored
They
it.
tried to.
I owe my mother a huge apology for what I drug her through.
Oh, she
But
knows.
She loved me so much, and I loved her so much, and she was so happy that that I had Jay. By the time it was time for her to go and be in the other room, that's what I call it.
Yeah.
And Jay promised her that he was here for the long haul and that we were good and that he was going to take care of me. And then she let go.
Yeah. Aw.
Pretty cool.
And by the
cool.
way, for those of you that didn't know, fun fact: this right here.
Oh, yeah.
This is her. This is her contribution and a way of us to have her present
Yes.
in these moments. This was given to Julz.
We
by
got
her.
it at Target. We were shopping in Target years ago.
Yeah.
And I saw it, and then Mom saw it, and she was like, "You must have that."
Yeah.
And it's been with me for 15 years.
Yep. And
Yeah.
here it is. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
center stage here.
But this truly describes the way that we all need to, the path that we need to head down for our lives. Figure out what your dreams are. Do what you love. Believe in miracles. Be your best self.
Yep.
Dream big. I'm reading them off the.
Yeah.
It's right there. Laugh.
Yeah.
Laugh a lot.
Oh, we laugh a lot. Actually, that's one of the things on my dating profile.
Yeah.
One of the things that, like, the prompt is, how does somebody win you over? And for me, it's like laughter.
Yep.
Like it has to be laughter and a lot of dancing too, because I love dancing.
Yep.
Everybody knows that I love salsa dancing and all that. So definitely, I want to be dancing. I want to be laughing, and life. I was about to say life is short, although. I do believe life is short, although I am going to live to 107.
Yeah.
So I do have a lot of time left. However, you have to be intentional about what you spend your time doing and who you spend your time doing it with. That's a really big deal.
Yeah, because if you are with the wrong person,
You're not laughing.
Life is not short.
Yeah, life is not, well, and you're definitely not happy. You're not bursting with, whatever all this stuff is. All the happiness and the joy and the embracing every possibility and discovering your passion. If you're crying all the time because your person is making you so miserable, like you're not doing what you love. You don't believe in miracles. You're not living the dream.
You may not have truly fallen in love.
Correct.
What were we talking about at lunch? We were talking about you think you're in love, but you're really not. You are.
I don't know. What are you talking about?
I can't remember. I think that we have to be cautious and go back to what you said at the very beginning, because at first there can be some really substantial love bombing. And,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. And if you're like me, I believed every single thing everybody said.
Well, see, okay, that's me. That's me too. So here's the thing
timer
where
already went off.
Did it?
Yeah,
Okay,
we're gonna keep talking.
I'm not done.
I'm not either.
So what I was going to say about what you just said is that I really do go into it with an open heart.
Me too,
And I really
man.
do have such a
I
pure
did.
heart where I trust people. Maybe a little too much.
You
but
believe 'em.
I do. I believe them.
Because
I trust
you're
them,
coming-
and I show them exactly who I am.
Well, because you're coming from a place of authenticity
Right.
and honesty and
Right.
no lies and no deception.
Yeah.
But I wonder if those people who are love bombers or narcissists, and we talked about this, do they know that that's what they're doing?
I have
want
talked,
y'all to let us know
I want to
what
know
you
that.
think.
Well,
Yeah.
if you're a narcissist, call us up and
Well,
tell us.
no, if you have been with a narcissist,
Yeah.
is
No.
more in line with what I mean.
That's true. That's true. I mean, do they know? Even if you've been with one, you don't know what's really in their head. So how do you know?
No, I don't. And I have been.
Yeah. So how do
And-
you really know? Now, this is what I was going to say. But some of the people that I've had interaction, conversations, dates, whatever. I actually believe that some people are I believe that they're genuinely good people.
Right.
And some people that have not been ready, and absolutely when I realize that there is no chance that I could move forward with this person because we're not equally yoked, we're not at the same stage, we're not looking for the same thing. I don't think it's because they're a bad person. I think it's because, maybe there's more healing that they need to do.
Yeah.
Maybe I have met people that have, listen, we all have childhood trauma. We all have trauma. We've talked about it before. But there are some people that really haven't really kind of cleaned all that up yet.
No.
There are some people that are still suffering from the damage from a previous relationship, and they go into a new opportunity, a new relationship, meeting a new person, and they're already so gun shy and so insecure about what's going to happen in this one. And all that fear and insecurity, the biggest issue with that is that not only are you holding yourself back from what potentially could be an amazing opportunity in front of you, not only are you holding yourself back from that, but there are a lot of blessings that could come from that person that could help you in your healing that you're blocking yourself from too. And then if you're not representing yourself from authenticity, that's where that love bombing comes in. That's what we were talking about. That's where it feels like some people say that they want X, Y, and Z, but then they don't really act like they want that. And it's from a place of fear.
Well,
and from a place of
they
insecurity.
just want to use your energy. They want to take up
Use your
time.
body.
They want to use your body.
Yeah.
And they will do it if you let them.
Yep.
So that's the point, is you need to understand where you're going, what you're looking for, and stick with that.
Yep.
And not let them use your energy, use your body. Just no, because that is spiritually debilitating.
It is. It
will drain you.
I think for me, my number one indicator, and I actually learned this from, shout out to Ace Metaphor and all the people on the panel from tonight's conversation. If you've never heard that they do this kind of tour around the country, and it's called Tonight's Conversation Podcast. And actually they have some really great conversations,
really good.
And there's some awesome people on the panel that have shared some great advice. And I learned this from them. For me, my number one thing is, at any moment that I feel like, well, number one, because of your intuition, pay attention to your gut. But if at any moment you realize that there's the clarity has either something feels like it's shifted, or you are not clear, or you feel like you're either doubting or second guessing yourself, the moment that happens, that is an invitation for a conversation.
Yep.
And if you are afraid to have the conversation, you shouldn't be, the wrong person shouldn't be in that relationship.
Do not ignore that feeling.
Do not ignore that feeling.
I can tell you, and I tell everybody that I talk to, the biggest mistakes that I've made, that I'm talking about openly here because I need to make an impression on at least one person, and it's when I ignored my gut.
Yep.
And I did it anyway, even though I knew that it was not a good idea. And then you just drag, it's not just you. You drag your kids through it, you drag your family through it. Me saying I need to apologize. I wish I could apologize to my mom. She knew that I was sorry for all of that, because I did the work before she passed away. And she saw me clean out. She saw me drop off my baggage that I'd been lugging around for decades. And you don't want to show up in a new relationship with all your suitcases. You just don't.
As Julz says, with your shit on fire.
Yes, you don't. Good Lord. It's like people would just say, hey, you want to do this? Yes. Hey, you want to get married? Yes. Do you want to have a baby? Yes. That is not the way it's supposed to go. Now, I am so thankful for all my children, but I'm not thankful for what they have been through, because I didn't look in the mirror soon enough.
Yeah.
So
hopefully, we actually talked about a lot of different things today. They all go back to the purpose of dating and clarity for yourself.
Yeah.
But I hope that there is a little tidbit, a little nugget of information, a little drop from our jar of wisdom, where, somebody feels like something spoken about today resonated with them, that is making them think, so that they could have more clarity on their next step.
Yeah, all you got to do is just make sure you know what you're looking for. Because if you don't, you are going to walk down the aisle, and then later on, you're going to walk into the courts, and that is not fun. Just know it. Instead of just do it.
You had a lot of really
it.
good one-liners today. I feel like you did.
Full of it today.
Okay. Well, anyway, we're out of time. But one of the things, I want to remind everybody, if you haven't subscribed, please do that.
Yep.
Share this podcast with whoever you think would love to hear this kind of content, but also somebody that you feel that this could be really helpful, too.
And thank you to all those who have already subscribed.
Yes, thank you.
We're excited.
Yes, our numbers are climbing. We are still relatively new.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what number episode this is because we pre-record, probably a month or so out. But if you have any comments, if you have any feedback, if there are any specific topics that you want us to talk about, go ahead and put them in the comment section below. We also have an email address where you can start a conversation with us directly.
Yep, and we're the only ones
we're the only ones that read it. hello@bettyandjulz.com, BETTE.
And JULZ.
And as always, we are so grateful and so appreciative for you to spend a part of your day with us. Make sure you binge. We have tons of awesome episodes. Make sure you binge on multiple while you're here. And we look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.